Good evening, fellow Biafrans, men and women of goodwill and of good conscience. This is Radio Biafra live presentation from London. I'm reaching you wherever you are on this planet Earth on this day, the 18th of July 2019. We are asking you, eminent Biafrans, from wherever you are listening, to indeed join hands together this evening to make this program a worthwhile one. We will not, as always, forget or let it lost on us that we are doing everything we are doing in the name of the Most High God, He who sits in secret and the open. We call upon him to descend as always in his majestic power and his mighty valor to indeed be on the driving seat and to drive home this audacious restoration gospel to its conclusion. That he will not only be preached on this platform discipline, but that it will go forth to touching hearts of men and women from around the world. That those who have not begun to attune themselves and assimilate this gospel will begin to do so in uncertain times. We ask you, the Most High God, to bless every IPOB family member, every genuine Biafran fighting, working assiduously towards restoration of Biafra. You shall go before us, you shall go beside us, you shall go behind us, and continue to envelop us with thy presence, with thy protection, with thy glory, that the evil ones will have no upper hand against us. You shall continue to drive them away from us. You shall continue to drive them into the pit of hell. May confusion continue to rule their lives, that they shall never agree on anything that they have plotted against us. May they continue to speak in hostile, antithetical, divergent languages among themselves, that their lives shall be ruined by the same calamity that they have plotted against the people of Biafra. In turn, we ask you, the Most High God, to remember your promises to our ancestors, and by extension, all of us, Jesus of Biafrans on this platform, that you shall restore our lost inheritance to us. The land of Biafra wrongly robbed us. Now is the time to make a name for yourself, that our enemies will see that you are indeed our God and we are your people. Allow us to stand on it when fully restored, to raise our voices again in unison and in a new symbolic covenant, that the rest of humanity will be of your name, and that every generation of Biafran to come will indeed subscribe to your majestic power and have you as their own God as well, and you have them as your own people. Bless our leader Mazi and his family. Bless every dedicated IPOB family member, principal servants from the African continent to the Asian continent to European continent to Australia to the Americas. Bless every friend of Biafra and their families. We ask you, the Most High God, that your abundance grace will remain with us, and more importantly, with the families of our departed brethren, who are, of course, part and parcel of this family. We shall stand shoulder to shoulder with all of them at all times. Do not forget our brothers and sisters who are undergoing different degrees of pains and difficulties as we speak. Your glory, your blessing shall never depart from them. Give us every enablement, every grace, every courage to stand shoulder to shoulder with them at all times. To our fallen heroes and heroines who have paid the ultimate price, that we have our freedom, and because of whom we are doing what we are doing. May their souls continue to rest in your bosom until we all meet to part no more. But may they never rest where these evil men and women and their murderers are. May their spirits continue to haunt, continue to torment, continue to harm them all the days of their lives until they fizzle away from the face of this planet Earth. We ask you, the Most High God, to complete what is not complete in us. Make perfect what is not perfect in us, because we are men and women born under circumstances of imperfection. But when your glory comes, everything will be perfected. Now is the time to make that your name be heard and be seen that the people of Biafra are so close to you, that the rest of humanity will be in awe of your name eventually when Biafra is fully restored. Continue to scatter, continue to set confusion into the camp of the Fulani Janjaweed terrorists who are in charge of the political affairs of indigenous populations in the contraption called Nigeria. It is your wish that the zoo called Nigeria shall collapse this time around, because it's an abomination unto mankind. We shall be partakers of this. Biafra shall come in our lifetime. Make this a reality in our lifetime. To this we say amen and amen and amen and amen. My name is Uche Mefor. I am standing in for Agweta Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the colossus, the Enugu and Igoko of our time, the man who has set this fire burning, and of course with the support of eminent, dedicated, hardcore Biafrans around the world. They say that we are miscreants, they say that we are terrorists, but I can tell you that IPOB remains the only name the contraption called Nigeria are afraid of. You can say anything, but in the real sense of the word, the world, in reality, the rest of humanity understand and appreciate what IPOB is doing. We have not come with guns and weapons to kill, to maim, to spare the blood of the innocent. We have come to expose what is hidden in that contraption called Nigeria, and to say the truth and stand by it at all costs. You should be afraid of us, not us being afraid of you. And as long as our hands are clean, as long as we remain ideologically consistent, as long as we do not waver, as long as we do not prevaricate, Biafra shall be restored in our lifetime. And we are not going to hand this baton over to our children and generations of Biafrans to come. Biafra shall be restored on behalf of and in the honor of our gallant heroes and heroines who have paid the ultimate price. Their sacrifices cannot be in vain. This name Biafra shall never be abandoned. Anybody suggesting to you otherwise is a coward, is a saboteur. If you are fighting for Biafra, you must not be afraid of the name Biafra. You must not be uncomfortable with the name Biafra. You must stand with this name. You should be a approver of it. You should be proud of being a Biafran and as being associated with every effort being made to restore it. That is what IPOB is doing. That is why in and out of season we remain consistent, we remain focused, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. In our presence, our enemies continue to scamper for safety. The zoo called Nigeria is no match to IPOB, because we are indigenous people of Biafra, ordained by the Most High God, imbued with strength and courage. We have come with light, and we are standing in the gap for those who cannot stand for themselves. We are speaking up for those who cannot speak up for themselves, and the world is bearing us witness. Heaven and earth is of course jubilating that we are on the scene. This is Radio Biafra presentation, a very live one. I may not last for a long time. I am here to pass one or two important messages and allow some few announcements. Fulani Islamic Janjaweed terrorists who are in charge of the zoo called Nigeria, and of course in charge of the political affairs of Biafrans, because the saboteurs in our land subjugated us to their will and caprices. Are at it again. They are not relenting. They are double speaking. But we know that every evil man, every evil group of people will remain evil. All we need to do on our part is to make sure that we are prepared. Biafra land shall be protected against invasion, against terrorism from invaders, from aliens, who are of course hostile to us, and who have vowed to make sure that our existence is no more guaranteed. We must act in a way that we guarantee our self-preservation, because we will not all die. Millions of Biafrans have died and are still dying. We have paid enough price just to keep the fraudulent Nigerian project afloat. And we are asking the question, for how long will this continue? We don't care, we don't maim, but we also must recognize that we have the right to defend ourselves. We have the right to protect the life that the Most High God has given to us. If we allow it to be taken away by these terrorists, then we will have ourselves to blame. IPOB can be trusted. We don't trust any other person because of our past experiences. But for avoidance of doubt, for you to work with IPOB, you must prove yourself beyond reasonable doubt that you are out there for ultimate restoration of Biafra. That is why we are very meticulous. That is why we are very cautious in our approach to dealing with third parties. Our people must be very vigilant. These days, anybody that comes on social media platform and tells you, oh, I am here to defend Biafra, I am here to make sure that all the enemies in Biafra are slaughtered or sent packing back to where they belong. Everybody is jubilating because you are hungry for protection. But we are telling you this evening that all that glitters are not gold. You must be very careful. You must prove yourself if you are for IPOB, if you are for Biafra. Anybody claiming to be working with IPOB must indeed take oath. If you are occupying a very important position in our midst, including those who are broadcasting, if you are claiming to be advocating for indigenous people of Biafra, you must do the needful. You must join nearest IPOB family where you are. Very important. IPOB has so many and varied departments. Our cardinal principle is non-violent restoration of Biafra. But we will not shy away from defending ourselves, if need be. If need be. IPOB is a name with which we shall go in and out of government offices around the world. And therefore, this name cannot be tainted. A lot of people have worked so hard. A lot of agents of the zoo authorities have been working relentlessly so hard to try to bring IPOB to their level. But we are not going to allow them. A number of them have gone on to register IPOB in different countries where they are, hoping that they are indeed going to succeed in the franchise that they hope they will be running. You will destroy yourself in the process. We want to let our people know that there are a number of backdoor activities going on to try to mimic what IPOB is doing. And some will come up and tell that they are indigenous people of Biafra and all that. You must be very careful. There are ways we do our things. There are people who are in different parts of the world printing ID cards and selling it to people who are claiming asylum. And these people who are claiming asylum, who don't want to join IPOB family, will always be caught up in that their backdoor businesses. Our people must be very vigilant. We don't issue ID cards. It is an official position of IPOB. When we do so, we will let the world know. But we are not doing it now. People are issuing ID cards. People are taking money from others to write letters. Because IPOB is a hot cake now. IPOB is now a platform to salvage, to protect. People go about working day in, day out. They don't support what we are doing. But when they are in difficulty, they will come to IPOB. We have established rules and policies in place. You must be part and parcel of IPOB for at least 6 months where you are. In exceptional circumstance, people will understand a unique position. But our general principle has it that you must be with IPOB for at least 6 months before you begin to ask for assistance. Nobody can claim ignorance or feign such that they don't know about IPOB. People come online and begin to ask you, where is IPOB, especially those in Biafra land. It is not possible that you don't know about IPOB. So people should be very, very careful. There are some DSS agents who are coming up with all manner of stories to try to have inroad or make inroad into hardcore IPOB family members in different parts of Biafra land. Be careful, very important. The zoo called Nigeria, under the control of Fulani Janjaweed terrorists, have taken their stranglehold to another level. They are now in charge of every department of government. They are now in charge of every walk of life. They are now in charge of what you do. They now regulate when you come back and when you go out. With the confirmation of a Sharia judge yesterday and on the floor of the Senate of the zoo called Nigeria, the cycle is completed because there's nothing you can do anymore. Justice Tanko Mohammed, a known Sharia judge, and even if you go and do research about him, you will understand where he's coming from. On the floor of the Senate, he took time and did not mince words in casting indirect aspersion on our leader, Mazi and Senator Abaribe. This is to tell you what is to come, but we are prepared for them, providence of doubt. Every department of government is now in control, under the control of Hausa Fulani nomads who don't have anything. They roam from one place to the other. Violence is their second life. Violence is how they acquire wealth. Violence is how they go about dominating communities. They intimidate. They direct terrorism against innocent people, innocent communities. They terrorize communities. They terrorize civilian population. And nobody is talking. Nobody has the mouth to even speak up. Nobody has the courage to challenge them. And they have been doing this for years, for decades. Today it is now a culture. And they are telling that you must have to accept them. and that anything they want, you must give it to them. If they want to terrorize you, they come on air and make announcement. They use mainstream media platforms in the zoo called Nigeria. They threaten everyone, and they go with impunity, and nobody says anything about it, because they have the protection of the government. They have the protection of their brothers in governance. These are some of the dangers that IPOB saw a long time ago. Radio Biafra has been at the forefront of disseminating the information regarding the danger that these people pose to advancement and progress of indigenous populations. Our leader, Mazi, was the only lone voice in the wilderness. But today everybody is saying the consequences of our criminal silence, especially among the so-called political class in Biafra land, who are of course obviously subservient to these Fulanis. They connived, they worked it out that IPOB5 members, Biafran youths, must be wiped out. Today everybody is crying, and they are looking up to IPOB again for IPOB to come up and begin to defend them. It is very important that people understand where we are coming from. That you target terrorists, that you target miscreants, is enough uncharitable conduct towards us. If we are terrorists, why are you then expecting a IPOB to come and defend you? How can a terrorist defend you? Your fellow brethren are unleashing mayhem on everyone. Apostles of One Nigerian Project, we are asking you, how far has the game gone? How far? We are economically emaciated from every aspect, from every ramification, or in every ramification. We are politically disenfranchised because your votes don't count. We are politically marginalized, discriminated against, so that our people are not allowed to occupy any important principal position in the zoo governance or government. The only people you will see are the slaves of these Fulanis, and we don't regard them as anything. For how long will we pay the ultimate price to just keep this evil empire called Nigeria going? We are threatened. Our means of having a living is under threat. These people have come to make sure that their Islamization agenda is a reality under this regime. They are making every frantic effort to make sure that they resettle Fulanis all over West Africa, in the zoo called Nigeria. Everybody must wake up or you perish. We are not going to shake our responsibility, but it is also very important that those who have maligned, who have joined these terrorists to kill, to maim, to destroy Biafran youth, learn their lessons. They have called on their people to leave southern part of the zoo called Nigeria, including Biafra land. Of course, when they call southern, when they say make reference to southern part of the zoo called Nigeria, they're making reference to Biafra land because they earn nothing in other part of the zoo. They cannot do without Biafran wealth. Without Biafrans, they are nowhere. They call their people to leave and go back to their places. But we know that this is an avenue through which they will be plotting even higher and more sophisticated evil against our people. At the same time, we are not going to keep quiet. Our people in northern part of the zoo called Nigeria must understand that they have sacrificed their lives. No matter how hard you try to say or to ascribe any title to yourself. Some of you say you are Igbos of northern Nigeria. But we want to remind you that no matter how hard you try to warm yourself into the heart of these people, to them you remain an animal, to them you remain an infidel that must be slaughtered at any time. You remain a stranger. Very soon, all those your properties, all those your investments, they will take over. Some of you are answering Abdul Rahman, Musa and all that, just to try to belong. They know whom you are. At the end of the day, you will pay the ultimate price. What are we saying? You need to move now that you are alive. But if you refuse to, you will inevitably be moved when you are dead. And would have been a more shameful one. We are asking Fulanis to go because they wanted to go. But I know that they are not going to do without us. Some of their elders are in disagreement now. Some of them are telling them, do not go to anywhere, stay where you are. Because they know that they have nothing to go back to. These are the people claiming, boasting that they are the people feeding us. How can an arid region be feeding a rainforest region, a vegetative region? It doesn't add. That mathematics or calculation will never add. You will never stand test of scrutiny. So we know who is who. These people are only good at looting public funds. The most corrupt group of individuals. Very backward. Vacuous in their approach to issues. And they are only good in unleashing terrorism. And this time around, our people must understand that the more you allow these people to resettle, the more your future is in danger. Communities in Biafra land must do something. Make sure that individually they protect themselves. Collectively, designated groups of community watch platforms, we have to do the needful. We are not looking up to those in government because they can sell us at any time. We must be very careful with whom we are dealing with. But as per us protecting ourselves, we shall protect ourselves. If you know what you have, stick on to it, because you may be caught unawares. Fulani herdsmen and the cattle that they are rearing represent the most potent danger to our existence. They have sex with these animals. They don't eat it. They defy these animals. and they sell it to you. At the same time, this is a private business. Now they are telling you that they are coming to take over your land, take over your property and all that, and then resettle their families. Of course, Ruga is no more something new to us, but they have continued even after saying that they are rescinding their decision to go ahead with it. They are strategizing and re-strategizing. They are going to come back with a number of other options. Our people must be vigilant and resist these people. We shall boycott from henceforth every Fulani meat in our land, because arguably 20 to 30% of diseases that our people contact come from meat that we eat. And Fulani cow, Fulani meat constitute sizable percentage of all this. Do not ask how. Go and do your investigation. These people are having sexual intercourse with animals that they don't eat, and they ship it to us. These barbarians, very wicked souls. We continue to consume, we continue to eat, we all fall prey to it without knowing what we are eating, without knowing that we are using our hard-earned money to buy our death. We need to apply common sense. What Fulanis do in terms of agriculture, we can do it 1,000-fold. We salute the courage of those who have indeed come out to experiment with cattle rearing in Biafra land. It should be consolidated. It should be supported. It should be encouraged. Serious pressure should be mounted on state governments in Biafra land to establish such projects for both government and private sector, and employ people in those sectors. When we are saying this, they say we are discriminating and all that. We are not discriminating. We are running for our dear lives, and evidence are bound. Fulani herdsmen, cattle rearers have sex with cows, with cattle or whatever, with the animals that they are rearing. After that, they will send it to us to eat. It is about time our people stood up and make a very effective pronouncement on this and follow it with action. There should be mass action against this wickedness by these people who don't have the interests of our people at heart. We are asking our people in different parts of Biafra land to make this a sustained campaign. Talk to your family members to dissociate themselves from this, how I put it, we must detach ourselves from eating Fulani cows, Fulani meat. It represents death, represents danger for our future, for our collective survival. And we present evidence, which so many of you have seen as well. We shall carry out a very sustained and prolonged campaign against these people. They think that they have upper hand against our people. They think that they have absolute control over our people. We shall know who is who. At the National Assembly of the zoo called Nigeria, they are in control. In the executive arm of government, they are in control. With incompetent appointments, fielding incompetent and unqualified public office holders. And the judiciary, they have taken over. In both private and public sectors, they are taking over. Important government parastatals, they are taking over. And this is a campaign of domination, a campaign of Islamization that they're going to carry for the next few years. Therefore, everyone must brace up for the challenges ahead. When we're talking about Islamization, it doesn't mean that our people are against Islam. No. But our people are against forceful conversion, forceful imposition of alien values upon our own existing values that we have so much cherished. We are against overrunning our territories by force. We are against terrorism. We are against any individual or group taking over what does not belong to them. If they are going to stay in our land, they have to follow the rules or the laws in place. A number of arguments, plausible ones, have been advanced that cattle rearing is a private business. And it is very obvious. But these people in broad daylight are forcing it down the throat of everyone. Whether you like it or not, you must accept us, because we are a special breed. That is what the Fulanis are telling you. If you don't accept us, if you don't accept our cattle, if you don't accept our nomadic lifestyle, then you people will not have peace. That is what they have said to everyone. In Ghana, they are dealing with them. In Ghana, the government of Ghana has a very strict policy against this kind of conduct that is inimical to the progress of their own people. In our own case, it's a different thing. When the government fails and remains insensitive to the feelings and aspirations of the people, then the people, the masses, will stand up and resist it. That is when popular revolution comes in. And therefore, across board, everyone must stand up for the challenges, brace up for the inconveniences that are coming ahead of us. We shall boycott Biafra. Brother, Biafrans shall boycott Fulani meat products in our land. There shall be no Ruga in Biafra land. There shall be no implementation of their so-called National Livestock Implementation Project, because it is all about the same thing. It is Ruga marked and repackaged and projected to us again. Our people must be very careful that and prepare their minds ahead that there shall be no justice for our people, individually and collectively, from this time onwards. It has been happening before, but they are now going to do it with impunity. If you have a court case with anybody from these people, from that part of the zoo called Nigeria, be rest assured that you are not going to get justice. And unless the collective consciousness of the people across board, especially indigenous people, the original owners of the land, is galvanized, we shall all perish. But on our own, on this platform, we are not going to relent. This is really Biafra presentation. We are moving forward. Most High God remains in charge. The zoo called Nigeria is afraid of IPOB. That is what we are saying for quite some time. That they should. We are the children of light. We are the beacon of hope. These evil men and women should be afraid of us, not us being afraid of them. In their desperation, they are doing everything humanly possible, legally possible, politically possible, socially possible, to tie our hands and our back, to degrade or disable our potency to exposing them. But they have failed so far. They tried with our media platforms, they did not succeed. They tried with targeting terrorists. The world is even embracing all of us. It's a very hugely lost battle on their side. This is really a for that presentation. We are moving forward. Most High God remains in charge. I'm not going to take any much call other than the announcement that we are going to allow to take place this evening. We will want to appreciate every individual, every group of people who have been very tenacious and relentlessly committed to this cause. We have gone too far to even begin to think of going back. The zoo called Nigeria is imploding, and in no distant time, the original owners of the land shall take over what belongs to them. Top on the list are Biafrans. This is Radio Biafra presentation. We will be back in a minute. Welcome back. This is still Radio Biafra presentation. I want to once again use the opportunity to call on all indigenous people of Biafra, family members, especially those in Biafra land, to make sure that evangelism continues as it should be. This platform is large enough to occupy us as long as we live. This platform is for all. This platform is for Anangi Bibio, Ejo Igbo, Igala, Ibanke, Anang, name them, Shekiri, essentially the old eastern part of the zoo called Nigeria, and some part of the area they call South and the entire area they call Southeast, and some part of Middle Belt. If you know that you are indeed from this particular, if you know you are from this particular area that we have mentioned now, you need to come up and take your pride of place. You don't continue to sleep, that you'll be woke up at some point. We shall not wait for anyone, we shall continue to move. But it is very important that this platform is open for all Biafrans. It is important that you make effort to indeed occupy your own space here. There are people who are working as seriously hard because of envy and jealousy. They want to set up a different camp or franchise of Biafra. But people know that there is a moving train. That is why we are advising you to join IPOB family close to where you are and begin to sensitize, begin to evangelize in your own dialect. Speak to your people, to the part of Biafra where you come from. Speak in the language that your people will understand. On our media platform, there is an enviable position or space you have to use this platform to your advantage. If you are excluding yourselves, you are doing so at your own peril. When we started this project, it doesn't mean that we own it or something like that. And we have made public declaration that this is for all Biafrans. But somebody will have to start something. Somebody will have to start somewhere. Somebody will have to have the courage and the determination that is needed to stand in the gap for others. At a time when this project was started, this last dispensation, it was not fashionable to do so. And so people should understand and re-educate themselves. It was not fashionable to do so. Even people who are now singing the praise of IPOB today were against the clarion call across board by our leader Mazi and a few individuals who were there at the time. If we were discouraged, if Nnamdi Kanu had been discouraged by the negative comments, by the criminal silence of many, and by the jealousy and envy that ensued, then we wouldn't be seeing what we are seeing today. Despite all this, we are looking beyond every other thing, because we know that ultimately Biafra is the destination. And men, women, and children have died that we even have the God to be saying what we're saying today. Therefore, our focus is ultimate restoration of our lost inheritance that was wrongly robbed us. You do not ask somebody to come and invite you to what you belong to what you own. Biafra is yours. You must indeed come up and take what belongs to you. And do not allow, or rather, do not wait for anyone to come and wake you up or to come and tell you that this belongs to you. The only people that will be talking or reasoning along that line are people who have ulterior motive. But as you can see, IPOB today is a universal phenomenon. It's a global entity. The largest grassroots movement of Biafrans dedicated to the ultimate restoration of Biafra and emancipation of black race and indigenous populations in the zoo called Nigeria and across Africa subcontinent. We are not boasting, it is on record. A lot of institutions are researching IPOB. Go and search online, you will see what we are talking to you about. A number of individuals and groups, scholars, members of the academia, they come to us, they seek for information regarding what we are doing. IPOB has redefined non-violent agitation and civil disobedience and elevated it to an enviable height. Despite all the provocations, our people have remained resolute. Despite all the intimidation against us, despite all the harms that they have put on our way, we have remained consistent. We have remained tenacious, we have remained more than ever before courageous. And we make things happen. It is not by our own making, it is not by our own power, but by the grace of the Most High God. That is why we have always made reference to the fact that we are ordained and we have been imbued with strength, with courage and that determination to bring about what is not in existence into existence, and by the grace of the Most High God. Heaven and earth are bearing us witness. This is once again your platform, and we are moving forward. Most High God remains in charge. I will wait for 1 or 2 announcements, and after that I will hand over to our Radio Biafra Extra platform or crew. Somebody is reminding me that my voice is not as loud as it should be. I don't really understand, because from the monitor here everything is okay. I really don't understand what that means. The Facebook platform is not very stable, and I am asking our people to exercise patience while we try and sort out 1 or 2 things. Facebook platform is not very stable, and we are asking you to exercise patience. We shall do something about it. Very important.
Igbo anyị tetezie n'ụla na ọ bụ anyị nwa bụzi Biafra na-ekuzi maka ya.
Lagos State,
Lagos donu alabi international market na busi ndi Igbo hotel ibe di DJ no Igbo ya umu Igbo onye jebeli jodu no akuru na malonye bale akuru no nenu wate na malonye bale Igbo manje Nigeria kamune kaji lukenu no kaji lusienu baninu kaji bakakono kaji dosizienu baninu kaji dosiebani kifo makani wechake ino nobodo Igbo bigo na tabanu USA China no bigo batasiani lugonu anyị geje webute n'ikenu anyị bute ike na anya na taba anyị wee dosizianu ụmụ Igbo maka gịnị o na maka
Welcome back. This is still Radio Biafra live presentation. There is no substitute for our people coming home. Our people who are investing in northern part of the zoo called Nigeria must understand that they are doing that for these desperados. The appropriate time, when it pleases them, they will come after you. Our people in northern part of the zoo called Nigeria are advised once again to leave northern part of the zoo called Nigeria and head towards east. If the Most High God can bless you in Fulani land, He as well can bless you in Biafra land. And anywhere you find yourself, you will have yourselves to blame. Our people are advised to come back home. What happened in the 1960s cannot be allowed to happen again unless you want to sacrifice your lives. This is 21st century, and it is quite different from 17th century, as the case may be. This is once again your platform, and I will be handing over in no distant time to our Radio Biafra Extra platform. I am not going to take any call. Like I said before, I will come back in full force and do the right thing. As always, taking calls when appropriate. What else can I say? We thank the Most High God and you, eminent Biafrans, for your resilience, for your commitment to duty, and for having come together this evening. We implore Chukwu Okike, the Almighty God, the Mighty One in battle, to continue to envelop us with His presence, to continue to envelop us with His glory, with His favor, and to continue to drive far from us all the influences of the evil one. More importantly, may He continue to renew us, may He continue to revive us, and more importantly, may He give us every enablement to restore Biafra. From me, from here, this is sincerity Mefor at this particular point in time. Sign off. Thank you very much. For avoidance of doubt, if you want to make calling to this evening's program, this program is going to continue on our Radio Biafra Extra platform. Call our Africa rep, Mazi, who will be handling that program from anytime from now. Once again, good night and God bless.